We're back then with the first beginner's guide covering the new characters in the Shadow of Doom DLC, so in total there's 6 characters. The way I reckon I'm going to cover these is I'll do the Fantastic Four characters first. I'll then do the 6 characters from the base game that I've still to do, but I've done the templates, so it's only the commentary, meaning I can do them nice and quick. And then I'll actually finish up the beginner's guides. I think it will be 52 of them I'll be finished doing, which is pretty nice if I don't say so myself, but I'll be finished up with them, and I'll finish up with Doctor Doom, and I'll make the final one Infinite Thanos. So I reckon that is the plan. But tonight we'll look at Invisible Woman, character that I wasn't massively fussed about the first time I played her, but playing around with her a lot more, there's actually a lot in her kit, and there's a whole lot of testing I had to do for this video as well. But to give you an idea how she plays, we will start off, we'll do a general overview, we'll rate her stats, we'll then do a deep dive into her abilities, we'll check out the team bonuses, we'll talk about the synergy attack she's got available, we'll check out the build I'm running on her, we'll have a look at her 2 alternative costumes, and then we'll finish up with a quick summary. So let's jump in and start off with the overview. So then, as you probably suspected, is a support crowd control style character, and she really got some impressive elements in her kit when it comes to that, and we will talk about them in a lot of detail when we get to the abilities section. If you look at the abilities very quickly here, tag wise, you can see she has 3 offensive abilities and 1 defensive. The 3 offensive ones all have the energy tag, so if you want to try and push her damage numbers up a little bit, you can do that nice and easy via ISO 8. Her hero trait is flight, where she jumps on like a little invisible board and flies about. In regards to her light and heavy attack, the light attack is a melee one. I won't really use this too often, to be honest. The heavy attack is a ranged one. You can hold it down to charge it. It does more damage and it hits over a wider area, and there's nothing really that special about the extreme attack. It doesn't have any additional effects locked into it or anything like that. It's just AoE damage. Now, stat wise, her stats are very much middle of the road, but it's more abilities that define a character rather than the stats. But if we check them out anyway, her strength is a D, it's not relevant to her. Vitality is a D, mastery is a C, that's relevant to her because that covers the energy tag. Resilience is a B, so that's on the higher side. Durability is a C, and then energy is a C. So that's the overview on her stats. Let's have a more in-depth look now at her abilities. The first ability we have here is Force Spheres. So this particular one, release crackling energy ahead of her to trap enemies in a bubble, and you hold to continue attacking. Now, what's very interesting about this is a lot of crowd control effects in the game only applies to minions. They don't apply to your bosses, but this can actually put a boss in a bubble. I've been able to do it to Doctor Doom on the ultimate difficulty, which looks pretty amazing. Now, when you do this as well, it will actually break the stagger gauge on a boss or an elite, so that's actually really pretty nice as well. So this is a move I will use very often. It does seem that after you use it, there's some kind of inbuilt immunity to it, because you can't proc it again straight away, so that is something to bear in mind, but it can be a very useful skill for elites and bosses. The next ability we have here is our main damage one. So generally you would use this if a boss is stunned or staggered, so you could use Force Spheres to actually start off, and then you'd follow up with this. Although personally, a little bit clunky this skill, and what I would do after actually breaking the stagger gauge on a boss or an elite is I'd probably switch over to another character that can do damage instead. But this one here, when you initially tap the button, you'll fire out a wall. The wall will stop projectiles, but it's only there for a few seconds. If you hold it down to charge it, you get 3 instances, one in front of the other, and they can all do damage. However, each of the instances actually knocks an enemy back. So in most cases, the first one will knock the enemy back, meaning the second one, when it appears, there's no enemy there to actually hit. So overall, I think this is a bit of an underwhelming skill, and I'm not a huge fan of it. We then have Stealth Strike. It may not be the most effective skill, but it's one that is really fun and it's completely unique in the game. So in this one here, if you actually hold down the button, she will stay invisible. You can run about, so for certain areas of the game you can actually just use Sue to go invisible and just run past all the enemies, as long as it's not an arena you need to clear out. When she comes out of stealth, she will hit the enemy, and she does decent damage on them as well. You can see the damage rating is up at A, but I like to just sneak up on enemies and fire this off, and it is pretty fun. The final ability we have here is Protective Field. This is pretty insane and I'm not sure if it's working as intended. So this will put a force barrier on all your allies. It lasts for 20 seconds. And testing this out, and this is across both melee and range skills. The melee ones, for example, I went up against the Sandman boss when he's slamming down his fists, so there's no way that can be classed as a ranged attack, which the skill is supposed to be based around, but the damage reduction still works on it, and it offers an unbelievable 75% damage reduction from what I can see, and I tested that against various bosses and it was coming out at 75% against all attacks. Absolutely unbelievable. Previously we had Iceman, who's pretty crazy with his 30% shield, but this is just on another level. So if you're looking for survivability, bring in Sue. Even if you're not using her, switch back to every 20 seconds and throw up this Protective Field. Now I will mention that you can't stack it, so what happens if you cast it, you then wait till 19 seconds and cast it again, it will still expire on 20 seconds, so make sure you don't do that because you will be wasting the energy. But that's all her abilities, so let's now have a look at the team bonuses. When it comes to team bonuses, the Fantastic Four characters don't really do great at all. So in regards to Sue specifically, 3 different teams she's available in. It's Women of Marvel, Family Values and Fantastic Four, and the maximum overlap we have in regards to the teams is only 2, which is definitely on the lower side. The characters that appear in 2 different teams giving you a slightly higher bonus would be Gamora, Phoenix, Mr. Fantastic and Human Torch. Now next section will be the synergies. For the synergies, you have 3 different synergy traits. You've got Rapid Fire, Launch and also Bash. Now generally when you have Rapid Fire you want to convert that into Ricochet, but this is the skill that actually puts the enemies in the bubble, and I find that when you're using Ricochet rather than the base skill, you won't actually crowd control them. So I personally try and avoid having a character that would convert the Rapid Fire into the Ricochet. Unfortunately, it means if you run her with Mr. Fantastic and he's doing his Spin to Win skill, then it will actually stop the crowd control on that ability. Now, in regards to the top 5 teams that she synergises well with, now these aren't necessarily the most powerful synergies in the game, but it's the characters that have the most amount of synergies, so it's nice and easy to proc them. You've got Crystal Star-Lord and Wolverine at 64, Crystal Hulk and Star-Lord at 62, Crystal Luke Cage and Star-Lord at 62, you can see there's a lot of overlap in characters, Star-Lord, Venom, Wolverine at 60, and then finally Crystal, Miss Marvel and Star-Lord at 60 as well there. So Crystal and Star-Lord are characters that genuinely appear at a fair amount when it comes to the synergies. The next section will be the ISO 8 I'm running and the build I'm running as well. Build wise then for Sue, I would say that you definitely want to go for the support crowd control route with her. Now firstly, I would use the decreased number of attacks for status effects by 34%, because that does seem to apply to the bubbles that you can cast on enemies. In testing, I've been able to crowd control a lot more enemies a lot quicker from doing this, and as mentioned earlier on in the video, this will work on any of the bosses apart from the likes of Surtur and Sandman of course, but it means you can go up against God Emperor Doom and you can crowd control them with it, which does feel pretty awesome. Now for the remaining ISO, I don't actually put any survivability ones on her because due to the force field she's got, you don't really need it. So what I do instead is she's got the energy tag across her 3 damage abilities, and it applies to her heavy attack and her extreme attack as well. So for that reason I would go for increase energy damage by 19.2% and then increase the energy crit chance by 11.1% as well. So that's how I would run her build wise. Now let's check out the alternative costumes, and she has 2 of them. For the alternative costume then, we have a nice fancy new menu with latest updates. So I've slightly changed the look of this section, and I've also included the name of the actual costume and where you get it as well. So this particular one, it's a pretty nice look, and you unlock this from doing the additional DLC. It has to be in Superior mode, so that's a Shadow of Doom Superior mode, and the level in question is a Latverian level, and you need to just destroy one of the chests. It's very early on in the level as well. Next costume we look at here is the Future Foundation costume. This particular one is unlocked from the Shadow of Doom gauntlet. Now, I can't remember the exact level, but I'm pretty certain it was one of the last stages, so you're going to need characters around about level 200 in order to unlock this. But it's a really nice costume. You can see she actually looks different in regards to her face and her hair as well, so it's nice they've not just went for a simple recolouring, they've kind of changed her character model as well. But that's the two costumes you can unlock, so let's now just finish up with a quick summary. Sue then may not be the most flashy of characters, but what she does exceptionally well, and that's crowd control and also the support that she's able to offer. So just as a reminder, the force field you can throw up 20 seconds it lasts for, and as far as I can tell it's all attacks. It does a whopping 75% damage reduction, which is honestly near enough game breaking. And then you've got the crowd control aspect where she can actually stun bosses as well. Very few, if any, characters can actually do that, and if they can, it's really difficult for them to actually do it. So really interesting character. She fills the role that I expected she would fill. So let me know in the comments below what you think of her. Also let me know which Fantastic Four character you would like to see next for beginners guides, because I've not yet decided. And thanks for tuning in, stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon.